Welcome to Code Legends. If you're enjoying the content, please support the channel by subscribing and liking the video. Now, let's get started. This is going to be a quick video on how to create new React Native projects from scratch. So let's do this together and you can follow the steps anytime you want to create a new application. First things first, we're going to need to open the terminal window. And I always place my projects on the desktop, so I'm going to change directory with cd command and go to desktop. And then we're going to use this brand new command that comes with React Native 0.76 version. And it's called npx at react-native-community/CLI. And then init, that stands for initialize, and the application name, I'm going to say it's Hello World app for now. Let's click on enter. And what you're going to see here is that React Native is downloading the template project. It's going to set up dependencies. It's also going to ask if we want to install the pods. If you're running on macOS, you want to say yes. If you're running on Windows, you want to say no. And the way you do that is either you press Y on your keyboard for yes or N on your keyboard for saying no. I'm going to press Y because I'm running on macOS, and you're going to have to wait a couple of seconds for this to get done, so you can come back to the video once you're ready. Okay, great. Now this is done, and we have instructions on how to run this on Android and how to run this on iOS. We're going to do both, and the reason is that you want to know if anything went wrong with your setup right in the beginning so that you don't doubt yourself later on. You don't want to think that something that you wrote in your code during the development time caused those errors when it might actually have been the setup. So I'm going to start with iOS first, and then I'm going to go to Android. The first instruction is to actually navigate to the project, so we can just copy this and paste it here. I'm getting this warning, but you can ignore it if you're also having this. It doesn't really matter. And then to run the React Native application for iOS simulator, you're going to use this command. Now, if you're running it for Android, you can just do Android here, but let's run it for iOS first. Let's click on enter, and we're going to see the Metro bundler open up. This is what has to be running on the background anytime you want to be working on the application and seeing the changes in the iOS simulator. We also see that iOS simulator automatically opened up for me. So that should probably happen for you as well. You're running this command, but if it doesn't, you can always run npm start in the terminal and it should open the Metro bundler. So now let's wait for this app to get built, and you can come back to the video once that's done for you. Great, now the application has opened up and we see a little bit of a log here that says Metro bundler logs will be removed with 0.77. So if by any chance you're running this on 0.77, the only way for you to see your console log is to press J and it will open up your DevTools. So if I just press this, we'll see that all of the logs would actually go into this console log. And for now, what we want to do is to make sure that we see the same template for Android. If you're running on Windows section of the video, then you can just do npx react native run Android in your terminal. As we talked about, it would open up your Metro bundler and launch your emulator if your setup was done correctly. If not, you can go back to the videos. Since I have the Metro bundler already opened, I can just click on A on my keyboard and run this for Android. So I'm going to do that. It's going to launch emulator as we see here. And now some things are getting installed and you can wait for this to be completed and you can come back to the video once that's done for you. Great, the application has been installed, build was successful, and now we're going to see the same React Native template right here. Now, to get started on your projects from scratch, what you usually want to do is go to your editor. Make sure that you open up your Hello World application from wherever you placed it. And what we want to do is get rid of all of this setup. So first of all, actually, I'm going to get rid of TypeScript file here and convert it to JavaScript because chances are if you're watching this video, you're not very familiar with TypeScript and I don't want to confuse you with TypeScript code. So We can talk about that later. Let's just convert this to JavaScript for now. And we can do the refactor, and we're going to go here, and we're going to see the initial code for application.js file. This is what was rendering all of this content that we see in the simulator. Great, so now let's get rid of the imports that we don't need. The only things that I'm going to leave in is the safe area view and the text component for us to test hello world on our simulator. I'm also going to get rid of these imports because we don't need them. Neither do we need these or the section component. I'm going to get rid of this. And then actually I'm going to convert this to ES6 syntax. And then we can get rid of this. We don't need it. We can get rid of the styles. And we can get rid of all of this code inside the safe area view. And we can get rid of this as well. Now we can just type in text and hello world right here. We can save it, and on save my editor automatically formats everything. And we see hello world displayed here. And if I go to the Android emulator right here, we're going to see the same thing. Actually, if I get rid of safe area view here, just to show you, what's going to happen is that hello world will be displayed correctly here, but for iOS, it's going to go right there at the beginning of the toolbar. So that's what safe area view does. We're going to get into that later. So that's all. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.